3 stops and 6 races is all that remains of the 2024 World Cup, with XTERRA's top off-road triathletes now locked in for the final straight. 3 gruelling full-distance races and 3 all-out short-track battles mean everything is still to play for, but with almost nothing left to lose. So stay tuned for a look back at how it happened at the Citadel in Belgium and what lies ahead when the Cross Triathlon Pro Series touches down on the tailor-made trails of Quebec. When the rising levels of the Meuse River determined that the XTERRA World Cup would see its first ever duathlon at Stop 4 in Belgium, the French knew that they would have a fight on their hands. Blitzing out of the gate, Denmark's Jens-Emil Sloth-Nielsen seemed to relish every second of a race that played to his 2 strongest disciplines. It was as if the Dane could already see his first World Cup full-distance win as he led for almost the entire race before making it official with a 1 minute and 19 seconds to spare. In the women's race, it would again not be a French athlete at the top step of the podium. Sandra Mayerhofer turned in arguably her strongest performance yet. Taking the lead in the opening run, the Italian continued to open the gap throughout the course, closing the show with the biggest winning margin the series has seen so far. You can check out the full recap video on the channel with all the official time splits and talking points from the race available on the World Cup Series page at xterraplanet.com. With Belgium now in the rear view, Sloth-Nielsen sees his efforts rewarded with a move back into second place, with only 45 points separating him from Felix Frissier in first, and just 15 points from Arthur Frissier in third, with all 3 set to go head-to-head this weekend in Quebec. 5 podium finishes from 5 races have propelled Mayerhofer to 4th, despite competing in 1 less race. The 2 consecutive full-distance wins have temporarily halted the runaway success of world champion Solène Bilwan. However, with Bilwan potentially now back to full health, that train may soon be back on track. Next up is the custom-built trails of Quebec, Canada, where some of the best mountain bike trails of the series will decide who takes the lion's share of the 175 points on the table at Stop 5. Bringing in 10 years of XTERRA racing, Quebec makes its World Cup debut as stop number 5, with a short track race opening the show on July 12th and full distance race settling the scores on July 14th. The course has no shortage of speed and flow, with organisers able to choose from over 70 kilometres of custom-built mountain bike trail to put together a unique course for the first ever World Cup edition. 75 points will be at stake in the opening race of the weekend, with athletes going head-to-head in the second short track race of the series. The race starts in the chilly waters of Lac de Lage with a lightning-fast 2-lap 400-metre swim. A quick transition onto the bike leads into a 4-lap 8-kilometre bike ride that will test the speed and the flow of some of XTERRA's top mountain bikers. A sprint finish of 1,600 metres across 2 laps will then decide who moves up the rankings and who drops down ahead of round 2 when the battles continue. With a full day's rest, athletes will return once again to the waters of Lac de Lage, this time with a far bigger challenge ahead. The full distance race opens with a 2-lap, 1.5-kilometre swim in the lake as the swim specialists look to gain valuable seconds in the early stages of the race. Onto the bike, athletes will then take to 2 15-kilometre loops of flowing single track with well-groomed climbs and rapid descents. Pace on the run will be fast, with 2 6-kilometre loops of the trail that is more familiar with bikes coming through at full speed. Those that get it done will add 100 points to their tally, which could see vital changes on the leaderboard ahead of the penultimate stop in Czech. With Sandra Mayerhofer and Annette Grabmüller absent, stop number 5 will see the return of a battle that defined the 2023 series. World champion versus World Cup champion, Solène Bilwan versus Elise Patiez. Bilwan leads the series by 72 points. 2 good results in Quebec could be the nail in the coffin, as the world champ looks to stamp her name on this year's series. Any podium finish in both races and the French athlete could be on her way to becoming the first ever female double champion. The Patiers will not make it easy for Bilwan. The reigning World Cup champion has been vocal about peaking later in the season, and she knows a win here will be crucial for her campaign. If these two clash on the bike course, expect fireworks. In the men's race, it's Sloth Nielsen versus the Farissier brothers. Sloth Nielsen has a point to prove, and the Farissiers have scores to settle. Sloth Nielsen will be out to prove that he can win races in the swim, bike and run format. His strength is on 2 wheels, and this is a course where gaps can close quickly. If he can find the front of the race early enough, we could see back-to-back wins for the Dane and a late challenge for the series lead. Arthur Farissier was sitting in second place before Sloth Nielsen's win in Belgium, and the Frenchman will be out to reclaim his place in the overall. The older brother is famously meticulous and calculated in his training, so a strong second half of the series will come as no surprise. But it's Felix Farissier who has the most to gain. 2 strong results in Quebec will see the series leader with one hand already on the World Cup title. 2024 has felt a lot like the year of Felix Farissier, and clinching the series early will leave the Frenchman with just one more title to worry about when the season finishes at the 2024 XTERRA World Championship. This weekend we find out who can make the trails of Quebec work for them. Can Solène Bilwan and Felix Farissier start to close it out? Or is there more drama to come in the XTERRA World Cup Off-Road Triathlon Pro Series? Make sure you're subscribed to the XTERRA YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified when we bring you all of the action from between the tape for how it happened at Stop 5 of the XTERRA World Cup.